Good evening and welcome to Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility, the main field here on the synthetic as we get set for this NPL action as the Lambton Jaffas play host to Maitland FC, a relocated and rescheduled game for this NAIDOC clash. Maitland in their NAIDOC jerseys looking absolutely resplendent out there. Up against this Lambton Jaffas side that are fighting for finals football. Maitland are riding a wave of 5 straight wins, while Lambton fight tooth and nail to keep themselves alive in this finals race as we get to the pointy end of the 2026 Northern New South Wales NPL men's season. Chris McPherson and Harry Scobie bring you all the action, and Harry, this one has a lot of weight on the line for both sides.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it certainly does. We were honoured to call these two play in action a couple of times last season. They were always a goal-thrilling action, but today, synthetic field, which could play a part in it, but you're certainly right. I mean, Jaffas, the finals ambitions, you could probably say some are saying they're still there, some are saying it's all but over. Nonetheless, David Tancheski mentioned midweek they're going to go out all attack. So, interested to see how they go, but for Maitland, huge week for them. They were meant to play midweek against Kahaiba, obviously that postponed, and they're back in action here tonight. I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah,
it certainly should be interesting. The good news is we are on, which is better than we can say for a lot of venues. The reshuffling, the rescheduling, it worked out, so we will have this game going ahead, which is wonderful on the synthetic. It is the benefit of the great facility here at Lake Macquarie. Let's take a look at how the two starting 11s do line up. We'll start with Maitland. In goals will be Taylor Pate. Number 5 is Luke Corker. Number 6, Angus Muddle. Number 9 is James Thompson. Number 14, Braden Crowley, their man up front. 15 is Cameron Jessup. 18, Richard Ruiz. 19, Regan Lundy. 20, Matt Smale. 25, Kyle McSeveny, who joined them mid-season from Western Bears. And number 34 is Scott Wara. While for the Lambton Jaffas in goals, of course, the man who's been a fixture there for a number of seasons now, Ben Kennedy. Number 3 is Pat Bond. 6 is Joe Langlois. 7, Mitch Rook. 8, Jimmy Oates. 9, the American import Drew Patterson. 11, Lockie Griffiths. 13, Orson Weeks. 14, Riley Taylor. 23, Tom Waller. And 25, Jordan Goo. One notable inclusion, though, Harry, on the bench for Lambton Jaffas today, Riley McNaughton, as we get underway.
Yeah, huge to have him back for the Jaffas. He's had one of the more injury-interrupted seasons. And look, on the bench today, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see him deep into this contest. We know how valuable he is at the back.
Certainly is, as Lambton make their first foray forward here. Taylor Pate not really threatened, though. And they'll work it out from the back now. Maitland FC, a.k.a. the Magpies. And I'm really impressed with how these NAIDOC jerseys have come up, Harry. They look really nice and obviously a touch delayed, but great to see them out there and Maitland representing and recognising the contribution, I guess, of Indigenous peoples, both past and present, to our wonderful game.
Yeah, it certainly is, both sides with incredible kits. Maitland, though, in particular, I think it's a different design that is clearly working. Really enjoying seeing both of these kits.
Yeah, it certainly is wonderful to see as we see Lambton pushing forward again here. I'll take the throw long into attacking territory. Both sides appealing for the ball here, but it'll be a goal kick going their way. So Pate just taking his time with the goal kick.
It's interesting to see here this evening as well, as we mentioned off-air. Jaffas playing with a false 9 for back-to-back weeks now, and Archie Finn on the bench, like you mentioned. Mitchell Rook, we know he's got in him, but I think even the Jaffas midfield in general, they've got some very creative players. Jordan Goo, but it's Mitch Rook who's sort of playing as that false 9, but he does have the pace of Patterson and Griffiths out wide, so just something to be aware of for the Jaffas here this afternoon.
Well, it's an area that's, I guess, challenged the Jaffas at different points this season. His goal scoring, they haven't exactly been prolific, especially in recent weeks, and Drew Patterson is the most likely outcome to go, you'd think, leads the way with 7 goals. And when you look at the other side, Maitland's so heavily reliant on Braden Crowley up front.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's going to play a big part in the Cup next week as well for them, but certainly this season in terms of the campaign, you look at Jaffas, their goals are sort of spread amongst a few players. Obviously, Drew Patterson leading the charge, but yeah, for Maitland, like you said, Chris, a lot of attention on the Jaffas defence today needs to turn to Crowley to keep him quiet.
Certainly does. It's a big job for those men at the back when you have a look at the likes, of the defensive lineup for Lambton, and they've got, they're quite well, I guess, equipped there with young Lawson Weeks and Jimmy Oates, mobile, athletic backs.
Yeah, and I think you can see early on here Crowley drifting out onto the left-hand side. So I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves that space in behind for James Thompson. We know Regan Lundy playing out right as well. But just expect that combination to click for Maitland. They've been on fire lately.
Yeah, it's really great danger, though, is Braden can often get untracked, if you will, as they push forward here, because the three of those guys will just rotate across the front third for Maitland, and it's where that versatility and depth, and then you've got Daniel McFarlane obviously feeding them on a regular basis, but he's not in action today, so that'll probably fall to Richard Ruiz, you would think, sort of setting that up and feeding through alongside Angus Muddle. But for now, Lambton working the ball out of their defensive end. Just taking their time. Nothing really presenting, so they'll play it round between their defensive unit. It's quite a changing of the guard when you talk about that Lambton defence, though. To think this time last year it was McNaughton and Topor Stanley, absolutely oodles of experience. Now, obviously, we know Jimmy Oates has got plenty of experience himself, a little bit of a different level, in terms of, but not necessarily as an anchor of the defensive unit.
No, exactly, and he's had to fill that role, hasn't he? I mean, heading into this season, I was always keen to see how the Jaffas would utilise that midfield three, because there's so many quality players that can play in the middle of the park. But Jimmy Oates, I mean, he's that sort of player where wherever called upon, he will do a job. I think it's good for Lawson Weeks to have someone alongside him in a Jimmy Oates just to guide him into the early stages of his career.
There certainly is an opportunity for him, and undoubtedly the mentoring role that McNaughton will be providing for him from the bench and while he's been out of action. But that's a strong shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. The referee says nothing to see here and play on, and they play wide. Now it goes to that man we were talking about earlier, Patterson. He gets a nudge by his compatriot from the US, Richard Ruiz. And we'll come back. That will be a foul. And I'll waste no time in taking that. Through Tom Waller. Jersey 4, so... So now Weeks making a probing run down through the middle, feeds it forward. Nice little side heel there, and it's probed into a dangerous area. Bond doing the creative work, but it's turned over, and now Maitland FC come away with it. They'll try and work it down the left flank. Opportunity here for that diagonal cross to come in early, but the Lambton defence just pushes them and prods them into a corner. Clumsy ball work from Maitland. They go down the line here, Maitland FC. They accelerate around the outside. Corcoran playing wide and probing. Goes back to Ruiz. Lays it off and they push it down the line again and rotate it through their back line. Scott Wara joined the mid-season. Harry was playing in the OFC Pro League for Bulla FC out of Fiji, where Scott's been an international representative for Fiji, both at senior and under 23s level. So great to see us drawing that sort of talent into the competition as Maitland probe into the box.
Yeah, certainly is. Got his first goal for the Magpies last week, I believe, in their home win against Adamstown, and looks very, very composed on the ball. And you can see him here heading forward for this corner, and he's a bit of a unit as well.
Physical presence, certainly. Interesting to see what he can come up with here. From the set piece, dangerous opportunity for Maitland. It is an area where Lambton probably a little light without the likes of Topor Stanley. And unsurprisingly, Wara was pushing forward trying to take on the keeper. He's dangerous if it's bouncing around in that box and there's an opportunity. And check out the highlights of Bulla FC's comeback win against Southend United early in the OFC Pro League this season. He got a less than conventional bicycle kick, we might call it, Harry.
Did the job, that's for sure, yeah. I mean, when it's pinball in the area like that, you just want to scramble at home, and that's what he did. So we've seen a little bit of him so far. Hopefully, as the season progresses, we'll see more of him at the back for this Maitland side.
Well, they certainly are well ensconced in this battle for second, third, fourth and fifth. It's so congested, that top sort of area there, and teams like Lambton know they need to take points, because realistically for Lambton, if they were to lose today, what you're looking at on a numbers point of view, that would see Maitland move to 33 competition points, Lambton would then be 11 points adrift with just 3 games to play, which the math says they can't get there. That would leave them just 5th spot that they are clawing for. So we will wait and see how it all plays out. There's Corcoran again. He seems to be at the crux of everything at the moment. Plays that a little heavier wide than he might have liked. They feed this into the box now, but again, Lambton's defence up to the task and just drive it across the sideline. Nice and composed and settled early. The back line for Lambton, they've had a little bit of work.
Yeah, they've been under the pump early. Again, just weathering the storm. They've really struggling to just get their foot on the ball, but Maitland, they love these sort of positions where they can get their fullbacks high, as we've seen Corcoran early on in this game, like you said there, Chris, really loving to get on forward. And these are the spells of possession I think Maitland really enjoy. And you can see here that 3 at the back, and their fullbacks like to get pretty high. The Jaffas have to be well up to the task.
Yeah, they certainly do. It'll be interesting to see how long they can weather the storm, as Maitland seem to be just slowly getting on top. There's a little clip that will get noted by the referee. And Maitland, you can hear straight away the call. You can pick the voice of Adam Hughes and the staff asking them to move forward. That's a nice ball forward here, dangerously into the box, and well seen away again. Doesn't quite make its way over the byline and pushed out wide and kept in play, interestingly, by the Jaffas. Collision there, and that was a little hefty. Lambton will get the free kick.
Yeah, Pat Bond there going to ground. Scored an absolute screamer when these two sides met last year at Arthur Edenova. I remember it was one of those phrases you used in commentary, Chris. I can't exactly remember the exact term, but it was...
Where the kookaburra sleeps.
Tell you what, he's certainly good for a screamer. Anywhere just outside the box, and he'll certainly fancy his chances, Pat Bond.
Certainly will.
4 goals to his name this season, and I don't think any of them have been easy ones.
No, he likes to do it the hard way, Paddy. That's okay. It adds to the theatre for all of those people tuning in at home, and the joy of us watching. He's someone that can be absolutely diamonds at his best. There's always some theatre that follows the exploits of Pat Bond. Maitland now with Muddle, just push it across to the left, and Lambton went out in a challenge. Very scrappy out there. Feels surface a little slippery still after the rain we've had this morning. It just holds on the surface. It doesn't obviously soak in underneath and get soft like it would on a traditional grass field, which is the joy of it, but there is always that just skiddy factor.
There is, yeah. Maitland have probably used the better of it to their advantage so far. I mean, we've seen them play over the top a little bit in this contest. The Jaffas obviously have the speed out wide of Lockie Griffiths and Drew Patterson, but again, on a night like this, you sort of don't want to be relying on that long ball too much.
They don't, as they flick this across here for Langlois. He feeds it down. Nice ball for Gu. Gu's a dangerous one in these close quarters too, just trying to change those angles. You can see both sides trying to do that through their midfield, trying to just change the angles and catch people off guard. But Maitland get the quick turnover here, and it's fed into the box. Opportunity, sliding tackle. That's nice and solid. Well judged by the Jaffas. They managed to keep it in play, but only as far as Ruiz, a third of the way down the pitch. And now Maitland push again. They cross it into someone at the back stick. No one arrives though. Muddle's there, heads it down. I'll try and push this into the box and take a strike, but easily dealt with by the evergreen Ben Kennedy.
Great spell there from Maitland. Again, they just seem to be finding spaces too easy. I think that midfield for Jaffas again got caught out. Pat Bond, just a little bit of a heavy touch that turned over possession. And Maitland, fair to say they've had the better of the ball in these last 5 minutes.
They certainly have. Just feel like they're edging forward. Update from around the grounds. Hunter City Motor Group Stadium. And we've got Western 3 leading Cahaiba 0 into stoppage time in the first half. That is not good news for Cahaiba and their battle in terms of that relegation challenge with Charlestown Azuri and the likes of Newcastle, Olympic and Rosebuds. Used to be tough as a Rosebuds fan. I feel it's the 3rd season in a row they've found themselves with a few weeks to go right in the challenge. So that will be half-time, 3-0 at Hunter City Motor Group Stadium as Lambton probe forward here. Try and get some ball movement. Bond is on the ball. Now, and lofted up, and it's been picked off there by Corcoran. He'll drive it long across to the other side, trying to open something up. The danger man, Braden Crowley, out there. Can't be controlled on the pass back inbound, and Lambton happy just to see it away across the sideline. The old if in doubt, kick it out, Harry.
Yeah, they were looking for Tom Waller out on the left-hand side, and he's another example of a player who can get on forward and deliver a great cross. But again, Maitland, how quickly they just broke there. The ball from Corcoran over the top. It was a great ball to switch to play. And like you said, Chris, Lawson Weeks, no other option there to clear it out of harm's way.
Exactly right, just playing it safe as Pat Bond was there, just taking it back to Ben Kennedy. No real out-and-out chances as of yet across the opening exchanges as we're well into this first half. A little bit of a delayed kickoff with the congested schedule today here on the synthetics. A much in-demand surface with the weather that we've had. There'll be quite a few catch-up games to be rescheduled for the coming weeks, and you're hoping for most sides, and I know a lot of sides caught up games in the last couple of weeks over sort of the June-July period, so not too many sides with more than one catch-up at this stage, but we could quite well see it where the draw sets up for these sides over the next couple of weeks where that could end up being the case. Interesting to see the fixtures that come. Obviously, we know Cooks Hill will have the catch-up game, and then a couple of the games tomorrow already postponed, which might make it a little more challenging for a few of these sides on the run home, especially the likes of that Azuri-Edgeworth game tomorrow, Harry. That's obviously got a lot of weight for both sides, so Edgeworth could well ensconce them further into this top five. For Azuri, as we said, they're very much neck and neck in a battle, and currently sitting in 12th place, which for a powerhouse club of their history and magnitude is it's Tottenham Hotspur-esque.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great season by any means for Azuri, and just some of the goals they're conceding, they seem to drop their head quite easily when things don't go their way, and it's been the story their last few weeks. Midweek at home at Lolcar Oval, you thought it might be a turning point, but then they went down 5-0 to Western. Yeah, it's tough to describe how this season ends for Azuri, but it creates a bit of excitement in terms of, you know, this rest of the season. I know Adamstown Valentine was supposed to play today as well. That would have had a huge significance in the relegation battle. There's a few games coming that have so much meaning behind it, as is the case when we reach the business end of the season.
Yeah, both Cahibra and Maitland will be happy that they got on, because they've still got that catch-up game that was meant to be played midweek, and it's one of the ones that does overhang. Obviously for Edgeworth, they are now one of those sides that's got a couple to catch up, so it'll be interesting to see how the rescheduling goes there, as that one's sent way over the crossbar for the Jaffas, but probably the first real shot and angle we've seen, Harry.
I'd say so. It was Mitch Rook that just fancied his chances, and he's another player alongside Pat Bond that has those sort of goals in his locker.
Of course, speaking of Maitland and their congestion, we've got the Australia Cup this week, Harry, as do Western next weekend, so yeah, certainly a very full dance card. When you have a look at what's to come, Maitland will play South Fremantle on Wednesday night at Maitland Sports Ground, number one sports ground, wonderful service. We know the women's Jets have played a lot of their games there. The men's Jets have played some trial games there, and we've seen, obviously Australia Cup games there as well. As Lambton go forward here into the box, just control lost a little, pushed wide. Opportunity for a strike here, pushed across the face though. Lambton all of a sudden finding a little spring in their step and a couple of back-to-back chances.
Well, I think early on it's been a game of momentum. And Drew Patterson there on that occasion loves to cut in on his right foot. I think he's one of those players that when he gets the ball, you know he's going to search for that right foot, and just couldn't find the top corner. But getting back to your point, yeah, huge week next week. Maitland on the Wednesday night, Western on the Sunday against Melbourne City. And yeah, really excited to see how that sort of plays out. Hopefully good turnouts as well.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing for Western. I'm assuming that game against Adamstown that is currently sitting scheduled for next week will be pushed a week. On Squatty, as we can see there. But, yeah, as we say, Wednesday and then Sunday, we see WA sides coming over with South Fremantle taking on Maitland. And obviously, I don't know, the town of Western seen something like the likes of Melbourne City, and, you know, who would think the City Football Group would be coming to Western?
No, you wouldn't have imagined it. It's huge to have it at Hunter City Motor Group Stadium. I'm very intrigued to see how it all plays out. Obviously, a 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Hopefully, the weather is in our favour and we can have a great afternoon there.
Yeah, the joys of the Cup. But in the meantime, we've got some great NPL action here at your doorstep as we reach in every round. This one tied 0-0 still, well into this first half. These are the keepers, I think it's fair to say, have been quite threatened as of yet. So this one, speaking of the keepers, Taylor Pate gets a little touch. Plays it out forward now through his defensive line. In the weather we've had, it's coming out quite nice this evening here at Spears Point.
Yeah, certainly not as bad as it was looking into the earlier stages this morning. It was a late decision to cancel it from Arthur Eden, but as you mentioned in the intro, great to have it here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. And yeah, you're right, not too chilly as well, which I'm surprised by.
It certainly worked out in everyone's favour. Good weather for football. Synthetic should play nice and true and should allow the best of the football to eventuate. Speaking of the best of football, Luke Corcoran gets to the outside, carves his way back in. Just gets muscled off the ball by Drew Patterson. Couldn't get the pass to where he wanted. And Lambton take it away the other way now. And they'll try and push forward. And you may note too with this Lambton side, we were talking about it before, Harry, obviously quite a lot of different numbers because they're also playing in that NAIDOC kit. Just a lot of different numbers to what they would usually be wearing. So some different numbers popping up here on familiar players but unfamiliar jersey numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
As Ruiz plays it forward, lofts it over the top, but there's no real runners there. I think that was more a pass in hope than by design. And the Jaffas will go back to Kennedy at the back, and Weeks bringing it out, trying to find an opportunity here. They push it forward now, Waller lofting over the top. Wara gets a foot in. They flick it in. The interesting one. It didn't really look like a shot off the boot. It was more of a cross, but ended up in the gloves of Taylor Pate.
Got some power behind it there, Pat Bond, and here come the Jaffas.
Certainly are pushing forward, pushing up, trying to find a ball into the box. Just skewed off the outside of the boot there, and then again off the outside of the other boot from the Jaffas pushing forward and skied over the crossbar. They couldn't quite get it on target. The build-up was nice, though.
It was very nice. It's been a game of very few chances, like you said, and both sides have had momentum swings in this contest. The Jaffas are unable to find that final product, and I think this game, majority of it's been just keeping possession and trying to work your way out from the back. Jaffas have been caught on a couple of occasions, and Maitland likewise there, so maybe there's a chance to push some midfielders up high and look to pinch the ball.
Speaking of pushing up, is Maitland going forward, looking for an opportunity in behind. Chances created, rolled across and just tapped into the back of the net. Easy as you like. Braden Crowley just does it again. Fantastic work from the Maitland skipper. Buries it into the back of the net for goal number 15 for the season. That's 37 goals in just over a season and a half, Harry. He's absolutely electric.
Well, Maitland, too clinical on the counter-attack there. And didn't seem to be too many bodies behind the ball for the Jaffas. It looked too easy. Lundy getting inside, Lawson Weeks. And from there, Crowley at the back stick. Kennedy unable to get across. And we talked about this game having very few chances, but that one just seemed a bit too easy for the Magpies.
Certainly did. I think Lambton had been maybe emboldened by a little bit of extra possession and pushing forward themselves. It's easy on a day like this, and when you're chasing goals, to just get drawn in and drawn up a little bit. I think that's exactly what happened. Regan Lundy caught them on the hop, got in behind, and then Ben Kennedy was, look, I mean, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't there, Ben Kennedy. If he doesn't go to Lundy, Lundy's just going to pop it past him. He went to Lundy, and Lundy did well to be just calm, composed, and find an unmarked Braden Crowley, who he doesn't even need a quarter of a net to be aiming at open to make you pay.
Yeah, it just looked way too easy again. Maitland coming out of trouble, just finding some width way too easily. And that relieves a bit of pressure for them. For the Jaffas, David Chancheski obviously mentioned midweek the fact that they were going to come out all guns blazing and try and play on the front foot, but they just don't have anyone to hit in that central 9 position. Rooks tried to drop deep at times. Patterson and Griffiths, I'd seen with it, their only two outlets, and so far they're just really struggling.
Certainly are. They just probe forward here. Again, it's one of those passes that it's just indecisive, and they decide to go long, but there's no one forward. It's not really creating an opportunity. It's just turning over possession for Lambton, unfortunately. So we'll see how it plays out here. Taylor Pate trying to work it forward. No, he decides he's just going to roll it across to take his goal kick. I thought he was just going to play it forward there and utilise his centre backs. Interestingly, holding two centre-backs really deep here is an option. Now he waves the forward, just makes a liar out of me. There's the commentator's curse coming into full effect. And he'll send this long to a cluster just to his right of the centre circle. He gets plenty on this. It finds its way forward, and Weeks will get the head to it. They play forward here, looking for a ball for Corcoran. Somehow he's kept it in the field, and Lambton decide they don't want it left in the field and drive it over the sideline at halfway. And see a little deft touch there from David Tanchevsky on the bench.
Very rare touch there.
Showing he's still got it, the coach. Now Maitland just working through their back line here. McSeveny, now he'll play it across. Wire will drive long. Looking for Corcoran again, and you feel when it's not on that half break that Corcoran can sometimes be the danger man, the way that the likes of he and Matt Smale can play. Yeah, I mean, they're technically playing as wide midfielders, but they really play end-to-end as they need to and push forward hard, and as they need it in defence. Maitland can look like they've got 5 playing defence, but they can quickly look like they've got 5 playing in attack as well.
Yeah, certainly that's an extra outlet, doesn't it? And we've mentioned his name a lot, but Corcoran, been incredible this one.
That was a heavy challenge by Weeks on Wara. Wara looked dangerous there. I was just about to mention him probing forward and taking an opportunity, and he looked like he was just building something up. It's an old football cliche, but he's got really nice touch for a big guy. Just working his way through some open space there, and you can just see his class starting to build up. And Awesome Weeks came in and mistimed a little bit. I don't think there's any real malice in it from the young man from Jaffas. It's not really, from what we see of him, not his game to be malicious, but he certainly came in heavy and hard and mistimed it a little, and the referee nipped in the bud and put him in the book.
Now presents a huge chance for Maitland. You can see Corcoran making the dash out on the right. Jaffas really need to switch on from set pieces here.
Ruiz floats it into the box. Looks a little heavy, and Kennedy gets there. He goes into a collision with Wara. And the offside flag goes up against Scott Wara. One interesting story, Wara, when you have a look at him, as I said, he's played for Fiji, but grew up most of his childhood in the UK. He was in Stokes Academy for a long time, played in both English and Irish lower leagues before making his way over, as I said, and utilising his Fijian heritage with the OFC Pro League to sign in the inaugural league season this year with Bulla FC. And, of course, not the only, thread to pull on as a Northern New South Wales fan. Ryan Foots, who was here with Edgeworth last year, was playing in it as well. So wonderful to see just more pro and semi-pro leagues with these opportunities for these guys to build a living, and then can come and pick up half a season inside the transfer window here in Australia. This ends up back with Taylor Pate. Go wide now, looking for Corcoran, but Waller just using his experience there to outmuscle the energy of Corcoran. Rook pushed off the ball. Muddle sends it wide. Play down in front. An opportunity here for Maitland. Pull back, and now they cross it dangerous into the box, looking for the head of Crowley. Just beats him. Ben Kennedy won't get many an easier save than that.
Maitland again. I feel like they're winning that midfield battle really, really well. Angus Muddle's a player as well who's really impressed me this year for the Magpies. I believe previous Jets Academy. And again, I just feel like the Jaffas are being edged. He's a good spell of possession now, just to get their foot on the ball a little bit, the likes of Langwa, Gu and Bond, but they're just looking for that target in behind or that bit of space, and they just seem a little bit rushed at times here, the Jaffas.
There's a little bit of a mistake. The Weeks just couldn't control that. Kennedy's going to have to take it out from the back, and now Waller pushes it forward. Starting to look a little bit frantic, starting to, you get the impression they feel like their backs are against the wall. They know the magnitude of this game, and to be trailing early doors here as we head towards the back stages of this first half, it's undoubtedly just starting to creep into the minds that they probably aren't where they want to be at this stage.
No, exactly, and not only this stage in the game, but this stage in the season as well. There was a win a couple of weeks ago that you thought might have been the start, of something special for the Jaffas. We know they went on that late surge towards the back end of last season, which eventually ended up seeing them play Broadmeadow in the grand final, but again, this season, they just haven't had results go their way.
Well, realistically, the way the numbers add up as they probe into the box here, Maitland, and then Weeks just sends it long. They're basically going to have to win 8 games in a row or 7 games in a row to get to that sort of platform again, which, as you say, when they're 1-0 down, Harry, is a long way to come. And when you look at the ladder and look at what they've done so far this season, They've won 6 games to this point, so to go on a 7-game winning streak, it's not impossible. It seems unlikely. That's it. Maitland are, if they get this one, that'll be 6 on a trot for the Magpies. So it's doable in this league, and things can turn very quickly. Winning can quickly become a habit.
It certainly can. The Jaffas have got a few tricky tests coming up as well. But like I said, I feel like late goals as well have been a habit that has played a major part in their results.
Opportunity here, Maitland and Lambton just quickly interject, but they get the turnover with Goo, but can't maintain possession. And yeah, it certainly has been something. There's been a couple of clubs that you look at and think, a few sliding doors moments. Newcastle Olympics, another side that had a couple of games where they've drawn when they should have won and lost when they should have drawn. And, especially in some of those reaches of the ladder. And, for a Lambton, well, if they had picked up a couple more points, and sometimes they're those old, colloquial 6-pointers as well, aren't they? Because they're teams that, get further ahead because they win instead of drawing against them, and you fall further behind when it's, they're picking up 3 instead of you both picking up 1 and maintaining that gap within arm's length.
Yeah, and I think you talk about a 6-pointer, and it was a fine example of the game last week, as we'll get back to that.
Lambton pushing forward here. They'll take a shot from range, and again, that talks to that frustration and a little bit of a panic mindset that's already setting in. There's all the time in the world there just to push forward, at least a couple of strides, maybe get a better option. Yes, the defenders may come to you, but you feel that there's just a rush of blood and the shot was just taken because they're feeling the pressure.
Yeah, it's just really hard. There needs to be, I feel like for the Jaffas, there needs to be a moment in this game, whether it's a big tackle or a momentum swing or something given to give them. And I'm watching them a little bit in action this season as well. There's not too much communication out there as well. I think Jimmy Oates, we talk about his experience, but overall this season it's been really tough. They lost Bailey Newton at the start of the year, who again was one of those attacking outlets, but just overall it just hasn't been one of those seasons for the Jaffas. And like you mentioned, likewise with Olympic as well, they're not in a similar position, but certainly not reaching the stands that they probably should be at.
Yeah, I think there's a few clubs that fall into that space. I think Azuri will have a few of those moments as well, and depending on how things wash up, even a club like Maitland will have a few of those moments where they'll say there were some sliding doors. And Maitland's loss against Azuri when they had that new coach bounce was the first game for Josh Rufo. Maitland were leading 2-0 at half-time, looking like they were going to absolutely batter Charlestown, and then a different Charlestown side came out in the second half, banged in 3, and you thought that Azuri would turn in the corner. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a false dawn as Maitland cleared this away from their goals. And opportunity here as a strike's taken, but Ruiz blocks it. Muddle plays it forward, and it just pinballs around. Muddle then slides in, sends it out for Corcoran, who's got a little space. Bounces his field, plays it into the legs of a Jaffas defender, and can they maintain it in the field of play? Yes, they can. Good work there, Drew Patterson. Jeez, he's quick off the mark.
Yeah, he's been good to watch for the Jaffas this season. Obviously, really started the season well. A few bangers, most notably that one against Broadmeadow Magic in that frustrating 5-2 loss. And in a Jaffas team that hasn't particularly performed this season, he's been one to watch.
He has. He was always going to be flagged as one. He made a good impact in that half a season at Bell Swans. I mean, when you have a look at it, it's fair to say that Mark Agueli has probably gone on and added a whole new standard to what Drew Patterson did for being an import for Bell Swans in terms of the absolute phenomenal strike rate he's been burying goals for. The southernmost team in our competition, and now, in their second season up to the top 3. But Drew was a standout when he joined them last year, and as you say, he's been the standout for Jaffas probably this season, throughout the season in terms of consistency.
I think so, yeah. I was interested to see whether they play him at the 9 or whether he'd shift down the left wing. And like I said, I think despite the season that it's been for the Jaffas, I think he's one that, as we approach this near end of the season, that can probably hold his head high. And I'm not sure whether he's extended on the next season, but from a Jaffas perspective, it'd certainly be one to keep around.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Jaffas do fall short this season, what the approaches for David Tanchevsky and the club will be. Obviously, it's a results business, and there's often a lot of pressure, but there's a number of these players that have been here for a number of seasons now, and Jaffas do pride themselves on being a marquee club. There's a couple of those marquee clubs that would be certainly feeling a bit of pressure. I mean, Newcastle Olympic would be one of those. We touched on that. As as we touched on that, it's a situation. Obviously, they've now appointed Leo Bertos as their coach for next year, which is very exciting to see, bringing his experience.
Yeah, saw that midweek. Great for Olympic to have that locked in for next season. I think after a season, well, no, the season isn't fully completed yet, but after the season that Olympic have had so far, to have that locked in for next year. And I remember watching a little bit of Leo Bertos when I was quite young, and I remember him being quite a skillful midfielder. And I think just to have that preparation already for next season is huge for Olympic.
Certainly is. Here's a chance for the Jaffas playing it into the box, working it around. A lot of Maitland numbers getting back there. They're doing really well to settling back into that block as they do. I think they and Edgeworth are probably the best proponents of that as a consistent method of defence. Loft it forward dangerously. I think when you have a look at Olympic too, it's probably been a couple of seasons of that. I mean, they fell just short of the finals last year, but that was coming home with a wet sail, and a bit like the Jaffas, they had a very slow start to the season in 2025. There's only so long that these powerhouse clubs and stronger brands, and to be fair, when you think about those iconic brands, it is probably over the more modern history. It's those inner city clubs. It's Hamilton, Broadmeadow, Lambton, Edgeworth that are the four that have really been consistently there over the last decade or so, and people look at those four as teams that should be there, and when they're not performing either at a cup or a competition level for a couple of seasons in a row, unfortunately being a coach is a very tough game. So not surprised there. It'll be interesting to see should other clubs make those coaching moves in the off-season. The Jaffas, though, for the time being, have got a dangerous set piece here. I'll curl it in from the right, opportunity, pinballs around, and just clubbed away by Maitland. It could have fallen to anyone there. Poked forward again by the Jaffas, and here comes Wara, just watchful. Plays it over the sideline.
Yeah, really important for the Jaffas this second half, towards the back end of this first half, that they really start to get a foothold in the game. This is another period for them where they've been on the front foot. Can they make it count and pinch one before the break? Or will it set up the grandstand finish in the second half? You'd certainly think they need to score next.
Still a long way to go, to be fair. Really challenging for them. In the context of their season, you probably want to be scoring next, but in terms of taking points out of this one, scoring next, not always the end of the day. There's our great friend, Mr. Matthew Butner, who's in action at the moment with the Western Bears, would say 2-0's a dangerous lead.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a fine example was last week's men's match of the round.
Maitland push into the box here, trying to conjure something else. At the back post, just clipped away, not completely dealt with here. Maitland still pushing and pressing. Opportunity for the Magpies here, speaking of that 2-0 margin, to maybe extend their lead to 2. Played into the box here, just cleaned away in the end. Good defending, just scrapping there the Jaffas. Taking away inside the 6-yard box in the end to come clear. Now they try and push down the right flank. And it falls back to the defensive unit of the Magpies, and they'll go all the way back to Taylor Pate.
Yeah, it was a crucial intervention there from Jimmy Oates. Jaffas really had to dig in there.
Now ball forward. Played in dangerously. Crowley puts the ball forward, but the flag goes up. That must have been tight.
Well, you can hear Adam Hughes certainly appreciating it. And that's those sort of patches of play from Maitland that have been so dangerous. They've got him behind Tommy Waller's side a lot in this first half. And it's been Regan Lundy or Braden Crowley, as you can see now, who's shifted to the right. Looks like that front three have that license to switch as well. Crowley started the game on the left. He's now out on the right. That just probably speaks to the freedom that Maitland are playing with.
Yeah, to be fair, it's something they've done with aplomb, and Maitland's working well. They do that, and it makes it really hard to defend against because you find players all of a sudden they were tracking, a Braden Crowley or Regan Lundy, and then they look up and the wrong man's there, which just gives a motivation moment for pause and question. Puts a little bit of doubt in their mind as Crowley now feeds it back to Corcoran. Corcoran will drive it along into the defensive line. Next 70 will push it across as well, and here they come, flicking it down the left-hand side with Jessup. Can't be controlled and come back across the Jaffas with a throw deep in their defensive territory. So now Maitland pushing again, just trying to press here. as Jaffas go back to Kennedy. Doesn't come cleanly, but they do come away with it as they go on the burn here to the right. Trying to poke it through. It does work out for the time being. That was a clumsy challenge from Muddle and an even clumsier one from Richard Ruiz. He's giving himself away there, extending the arm out.
Well, you'd sense this will be one of their last chances of the half, potentially.
Maitland will get this moving forward. Set piece opportunity for the Jaffas here in dangerous territory. "30 metres out, they curl it. They curled it well. Unfortunately, the weight and the height were wrong. Another chance goes begging for the Jaffas. We'll see another Taylor Pate goal kick. He just plays it out to Wara. He will drive it long. Oh, it's going to fly over the sideline the way it first came off the boot, but instead it plays back in. Corcoran with a nice switch now. Lundy out wide. He gets clipped. Who's going into the book here? Riley Taylor. Thought for a moment it was a second card going to Lawson Weeks. I was going to say that would have made it very challenging for the Jaffas in the second half. But now they've got two of their backline already carrying yellow cards and they're down a goal with a dangerous set piece. So not quite as impactful or tragic, but still not ideal.
No, it isn't. They need to really lock in here and not concede from this set piece, which Muddle is standing over.
That will be Muddle. Well, the decoy run. Muddle curls it towards the goals. Just a little wide, and Waro couldn't get there to keep it in play. Right idea again, similar to the other end. Wrong execution. Probably a touch closer, though, from Maitland. But as we know, doesn't matter how close you get unless it's in the back of the net, Harry.
Yeah, he had a few teammates to aim at. I'm not actually sure whether he was trying to look for a teammate or something else. And you're noticing here as well the Jaffas. Mitch Rook dropping deeper to try and pick up the ball. Drew Patterson looks like he's, as we spoke about Maitland's freedom, but he's also got that freedom to drop into the 9 position as well.
Just to see Jordan Goo pushing forward there, as is Waller. Gets into the box for Patterson here. Just misdirected shot taken. Takes it, little spill does it off one of the Jaffas players, and Taylor Pate will just pick it up. Interesting to see Wara. It looked like he was just going to watch it over the line, which I felt that had to have taken a deflection off a Maitland player the way it spilled out.
Yeah, well, it was Pat Bond that found the ball on the right-hand side. He would have backed his chances from there. But Maitland again scrambling well.
Walker looking for the switch play. Just a little too straight and direct. Langwar plays it back now, and Taylor will push it forward. Work it through their defensive pairing. Goo down the line, looking for the pace of Patterson, just a little too wide. Did take a little bit of a deflection though, so it's going to be a Jaffas throw deep into attacking territory. Tom Waller will come down to take it.
Well, Maitland are certainly...
I was going to say, Adam Hughes not happy with that call. As I said, it must have taken a deflection because that's the way the referees are judged it. But yeah, it was hard to pick up. It must have been a very deft one at that. See here, Lambton pushing a lot of numbers very high. They've got all of their players in the attacking half here, which is how they came unstuck the first time. A foul judged here in favour of Lambton. Well, the call's just going their way, which is sometimes you need to bounce the ball, Harry.
Yeah, you do, and this is a similar position to where they equalised at Western last week. It was just a scramble in the box and Jimmy Oates was able to turn it home. They love a goal right before the break here.
So here they come, floating into the box, very wide from Rook and very deep as well. Update from Hunter City Motor Group Stadium. Just over 60 minutes gone, and they lead 4-0 Western. You would think would be another nail in there. Ensconcement in the top 3.
Yeah, again, for Cahaba, what was a thriller last week at Crowders Bay. They fought themselves back from 2-0 down to make it 2-2 at half-time, 2 goals in 2 minutes. And they've had those sort of performances, Cahaba, this year, where if they do start the trail early, things can come unstuck, but let's not take nothing away from Western. They're starting to make Hunter City Motor Group Stadium a bit more of a fortress. That's looking like back-to-back wins at home and puts them in good stead ahead of the Oz Cup next week.
Certainly does. Makes that relegation battle interesting too. Just 6 goals difference at this stage if it stays that way. So a little bit of incentive for Cahaba to try and not leak any more. But in the meantime, this one getting deep into this first half. As Lambton push it forward now. Again, just no real plan or strategy to that, it seemed. We'll have another goal kick for Maitland. A little wasteful at times, Lambton, and in that case, Jimmy Oates. It is tough to see, even with a win today. It's so much work for Lambton. You know, it's starting to become into that range of that mathematical possibility for finals football, isn't it? Even with the top 5, you have to be performing consistently and performing well to earn your spot in there, which is kind of what you want. You know, it's really good in the NPL that we're not in one of those competitions where they've diluted the value of the finals football and made it where half or more of the competition get to go into playoffs. So it is a prestigious honour to get there.
Yeah, I think, it's the back end of the season always becomes exciting and always tight.
Anderson just probing forward.
And that sort of shows at both ends of the ladder, doesn't it? I mean, the relegation playoff, I think it took right up to the final round to decide how that would sort of play out. And I know Magic had it wrapped up in terms of the premiership last year. But talk about that top 4, and it feels like each year it's becoming harder for the likes of, you're seeing this season, at Jaffas and Olympic drop-offs, top 5, sorry.
This Taylor Pate just fumbles that one near his post, and yeah, it feels very similar to last season, doesn't it? You know, Magic have got that bit of a gap at the top now, and you know they're starting to get to the point if they can, you know, they don't need to grab too many more points. I mean, they're 7 clear, or if you look, you know, they're 8 clear of Bell Swans, who have a game in hand on them. It's you know, one of those situations where you know you start to do the maths. Bell Swans can, you know, only maximise to get to 47 points, and Broadmeadow already on 40, so the math says to you with the goal difference as well, they only get 7 points from their final 4 games, which by far are from a fait accompli, but again, they look like they might be in a position to maybe, if they continue their form, grab this with 1 game to go, as here comes Rook, takes a strike from range, just a little wide and high. That's more promising for Lambton, but still just pulling the trigger a little early, you feel, Harry?
Yeah, I think, like we said, Rook's got that in his locker. It looked like it was starting to dip a little bit into that top right corner. Again, another chance goes begging for the Jaffas, but I don't mind that from Mitch Rook.
Yeah, I like it, but unfortunately in these games, I think just pushing up and taking a little better opportunities, it's, you know, shot selection, if you will. But anyway, that's why they're out here and we're here. It looks very easy from the commentary position, doesn't it? Much easier than it is to execute. And that's what makes it so exciting when they do pull off a stunning goal from distance like that, which Mitch Rook, as we know, is more than capable of across his fairly prestigious career to this point. So we know he spent the last couple of years down the Victorian NPL with Dandenong before returning home, as a few loud appeals here in regards to which way the throw goes. Lambton not happy. Maitland taking it. Countdown towards half time. Will it be that goal of break? Is the sole score when we go to the break? Only a little more time will tell. So often we see something in that stoppage time range where something is pulled back. But the referee says no, that will be half time. And it is that Braden Crowley goal that is the difference at the break. Maitland lead here in this rescheduled and relocated home game for the Lambton Jaffas. The NAIDOC week game, they lead 1-0 in the men's Northern New South Wales NPL at half time. A crucial game for both sides. Myself and Harry Scobie are going to take a little break here, and we'll rejoin you in about 10 minutes or so with the second half. It is all on the line. Lambton have had their chances, but Maitland are a goal to the better at the moment on the scoreboard thanks to their captain, Braden Crowley, with his 15th of the season.
It's a big responsibility.
Yes, you are big.
Your heart and your head don't always agree.
Ah, like Hayes, good deal.
Boring.
Yes.
I love it.
Let's make an offer.
Oh, let's think this through.
But there's one thing they can agree on. With local expertise, great rates, plus a highly rated app, Newcastle Permanent is good for your head and good for your heart.
responsibility.
Yes, you are big.
Your heart and your head don't always agree.
Ah, like Hayes, good deal.
Boring.
Yes.
I love it.
Let's make an offer.
Oh, let's think this through.
But there's one thing they can agree on. With local expertise, great rates, plus a highly rated app, Newcastle Permanent is good for your head and good for your heart.
And the F stop too. If I get up to 6, like theirs just was no
Well, welcome back to the second half here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. It's your men's Northern New South Wales NPL competition, round 19, and at half-time it is the visitors, as they are ostensibly on the score sheet. Maitland FC leading Lambton here on neutral territory. The game originally scheduled for Arthur Eden Oval, but with all the rain around, late readjustment, both teams accommodating and coming out here to Spears Point. They've put on a bit of an arm wrestle in the first half. Chris McPherson and Harry Scobie bring you all the action. Harry, as I said, a little bit of an arm wrestle, a little bit of a challenge. Maitland showed a lot early. Lambton got back into it, but Maitland, probably fair to say, a deserving leader at half-time.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Again, Jaffas have had chances. They probably haven't had good stints with the ball like Maitland have. Maitland have exploited a few runs in behind. I mean, that's how their first goal, or the decisive goal so far, came, wasn't it? Started with Corcoran, I believe, and Lundy went inside. So it shapes up for a big second half, and as you can see, that man on the ball there, McFarlane, coming on for the Magpies. So a lot to play for in this second 45.
Yeah, interesting to see Maitland making the change. You'd have to think at this point that there might just be someone carrying a knock, and we haven't really had confirmation of who's come on. So, or who's come off, I should say. It is, as we said, McFarlane on.
Doesn't look to be too much activity on the Jaffas bench, though. Again, both sides have heaps of quality on their bench. I've been impressed with some of the youngsters that Maitland have blooded this season. Jaden Ritchie particularly is one of them, but for the Jaffas, you know, we can see Karim Idris, a signing who's come over. He's only played a handful of minutes for the Jaffas. Tommy Parks as well from Broadmeadow, a player that I would have thought would have got more time with the Jaffas this season. Then you've got, obviously, Riley McNaughton, Archie Finn, Josh Piddington. There's a bit of experience on that Jaffas bench.
You're talking about young players. There's a couple of those that probably don't quite qualify as that. You know, Piddo with 400-plus games, Josh Piddington. So confirmation to that change at halftime was Angus Muddle coming off. It always makes commentary a little bit more challenging. Someone like Angus Muddle just stands out so well with that blonde hair. Always little unique features just so you can pick up players quickly on the fly. Make it a little easier for you. So Lambton now probe forward, just trying to conjure something into the box. Well defended by Maitland as they just force Lambton over the byline, and not get a goal kick out of that. That's a very good result for the Magpies. Yeah, the cockatoos flying over, very confused by the floodlights. I think it's daytime still here in Spears Point. How good the lighting is. It certainly looks that way as Braden Crowley comes onto the ball. Swings it deep now. It's a nice ball out for Thompson and then just pushed backwards. I'm sure that was the clearance that Jimmy Oates was looking for. And they clean it up and it will be a throw-in for Maitland deep in attacking territory here. A good opportunity for the Magpies to potentially double their lead.
Well, it just seemed too easy. Again, playing out from the back. Everyone thought they were going long. And Taylor Pate just tricked Jaffas defence, feeding it out to his fullback who fed Crowley. And Crowley, we talk about his goal-scoring form, but he's also got a really good eye for the game in terms of vision as well.
Ruiz just chips this into the box dangerously to the back post. Just a touch too heavy for racing through Luke Corcoran. That was a nice touch from the American there, just setting something up and half a chance.
It's a lovely little dink. Corcoran again playing, you know, more of a defensive role in that license to bomb on forward at times, but he could have well and truly been in there.
Great recruit for them this year, the Magpies. After his time with the Premiership and Championship winning Broadmeadow Magic in season 2025. He's really come into his own at Maitland. I mean, he was strong with Broadmeadow, it's fair to say, but I feel like he's taken a little bit more responsibility here as he's stepped into the role in the white and black.
Yeah, I think the formation and style of play it suits him really well as well. And every game I've watched him, I've been super impressed.
Maitland again taking it downfield and just turning the pressure on here. Crowley just weaves around. All played in dangerously. Left back there for Ruiz, I thought, but wasn't quite lined up where it needs to be. Advantage played, here says our referee, and they work forward through Jessup. Back to Ruiz and back again to Smale. Lambton pressing nice and heavily here, Harry. Just a little different from them. We didn't see a lot of that in the first half. Just trying to disrupt the Maitland ball movement.
Yeah, I'd presume that was something that was said at halftime. I think they didn't press enough in that first half, but it's always tricky with a side like Maitland. Just interested to see if they continue that press.
Maitland a little stumble there, but get back to their feet, maintaining possession. Try and work it down. A little challenge on the edge of the box, but the referee happy with the contact, and we'll have a goal kick. Back to Ben Kennedy, and it's fair to say, despite Maitland leading 1-0, Ben Kennedy has not had a lot to do today so far.
Yeah, it's certainly been one of those days in the office where he hasn't been caught into action too much, and hopefully for his sake and for the Jaffas' sake as well, that majority of the second half is played down the other end.
Weeks just taking his time on the ball, looking at options. Probably not the best percentage play there, but it works out okay as Gu lays it back. Been an interesting game, hasn't it? Corcoran obviously a standout. Hard to pick out too many others that have really been on top for extended periods to get the game.
Yeah, I agree. 100% spot on with you there. It's very hard to single out any other players. I think Maitland as a unit defensively have been strong, but Corcoran is certainly the one that I think it's fair to say has caught both our eyes.
Yeah, certainly has. Smale goes back to Jessup, who floats it forward. They have to get their way in, and Langlois will pop it back, but straight to Ruiz, who gives it to Smale. Beats it nice through the pack to find Crowley. Just looks to have that extra time on the ball. He pushes it across again, and now here is that man in Corcoran. Feeding it back into the box, but Lambton jerseys in yellow surround the ball and see it away. Also just made a little polite inquiry. We've had confirmation. It was a tactical change, no injury for Muddle. It's always good news as Maitland look to continue to build this winning run. As we said, 5 games straight, which has been part of them ensconcing themselves up now in 4th position and trying to nip at the heels. Obviously, top 3 gives you that second bite at the cherry. Not that you want to rely on it, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, it is. And getting back to that substitution, it's pretty nice when you have a player like Angus Muddle leaving the field for Damien McFarlane, who's been super impressive. Muddle, you know, good to see that they've got that replacement on the bench.
Yeah, Mac has been very good for them, Daniel McFarlane, since he's joined them from Central Coast United at the start of last season. And just, you know, Dan's been a real instrument. Last year he's a fixture in the midfield, so it obviously talks to the, I guess, wealth of depth that Adam Hughes has at his disposal when he's looking at different structures, different formations, and you know the fact that he can get a full half of football out of each of those two is testament squad capability, I guess, for the Magpies.
Yeah, and both will play, I'm assuming, a huge role in the game on Wednesday night.
Certainly be interesting to see how that all plays out. As we said, big opportunity for people, some top-class football. Australia Cup round of 32, Maitland Sports Ground, 7:30 on Wednesday night. Make sure to get down there and make a night of it, whether you're a Maitland fan or just a football fan in general. If you can get there and get out and support Maitland against South Fremantle. They are representing Northern New South Wales on the biggest stage, and the fact that we've got both Northern New South Wales teams at home in the round of 32 this year is certainly not a luxury we had in season 2025.
No, it wasn't, and it shapes up as a huge week next week. Hopefully the weather can stay away. But yeah, obviously the Newcastle Jets playing away to Preston Lions. But really good to have both NPL teams that have qualified for the round of 32 on home soil.
Great chances. Pate, speaking of great chances, comes out and slides across and just blocks that shot from Lambton. Probably a little more than a half chance, you'd call it. Keep saying South Fremantle. It's Fremantle City. I'll get that right.
Yeah, great chance for the Jaffas there. Joey Langlois sensing that run in behind. It's at the start of them starting to work their way back into the contest.
Lambton send this long and wide, well headed in, and a fairly physical challenge there from Pat Bond, and just lost over the sideline. You can see the frustration showing there. Lockie Griffiths. He hasn't had a lot of opportunity tonight. Both sides previously were playing a lot down the left of Lambton and the right of Maitland in the first half. It's like they like the camera side, Harry. All floated forward here, an opportunity. Pulls up nicely. You'd expect it would have skidded on there, but no, it just holds up. But Lambton a little over exuberant with their pressure there on the Maitland defence as they try and play it out and give the foul away. So Maitland will take their time here as they look to get us back underway. Maitland will certainly be very cognizant that a one-goal lead isn't enough of a margin to be comfortable, and they know how crucial these 3 points will be if they can claim them today. Especially noting that they've got that catch-up game as well, so they're very much eyeing continuing this streak out beyond the 5 NPLs at the moment as they play this in danger. Ben Kennedy out off his line, just diving forward and takes that off the toes of Maitland as they're racing through. That was a tight one, Harry, but BK completely up to the task.
Well, that understanding again of McFarlane and Crowley all season, I've spoke about it and how credible those two can combine. And Kennedy, needed to be up to the task there. Crowley noticed that overlapping run and probably just had a bit too much speed on it. But again, Maitland pitching the ball up just over the halfway line and immediately we're in for a second there.
Let's have a look here. Are we seeing a change? We are. Confirmation from the 4th official. Of the change to come. Power or with the man to come on. He'll bring some energy. We know that. The way he plays, normally plays most comfortable in the wide areas. Smale working it around. Crowley dropping deeper to get himself engaged. We often see that with Braden Crowley, who look to make sure he's heavily involved as Jessup now plays it back across. And here's Crowley in that spot as we talked about. Lambton now look to clear this away. Plays it through the leg. They're trying to claim a deflection. And it will take a deflection.
Yeah, I think as this second half progresses, there needs to be a turning point for the Jaffas as we see 2 balls on the field here. There just needs to be someone in the team, I feel, needs to step up and produce a moment of brilliance to really encourage and lift the rest of the side.
Yeah, they need to find something that hasn't really been obvious yet. We've seen some very brief glimpses from Patterson, but you're feeling a bit of a supporting cast. He's not probably going to be able to play a lone hand and break open the Maitland defence. And Maitland, obviously, with bringing on power for Thompson, showing some intent about continue to push forward and try and bring fresh legs in to create something here. Speaking of Patterson, there's some good work from him and draws the foul from Smale. Fairly innocuous, but enough to be adjudged a foul. And Patterson will now push forward as Bond just plays this backwards. Goes back to Oates. Men that have played alongside each other for quite a number of occasions and know each other's games well. In years gone past, it would have been potentially Oates be the man to set up someone like Pat Bond to break a game like this open, but probably not so much with him now being a reformed centre-back.
Yeah, it's been quite the year for Jimmy Oates in terms of shifting positions.
Definitely a steep learning curve after so many years playing in other positions that go to such a specialised position as centre-back, but he's done quite well. Opportunity here as they try and play in. Griffiths gets around, floats it in. On I say he floats it in. I wasn't thinking he was going to float it into the next postcode, but he almost did. Lambton recover though, and now they've got it on the left, and I'll play it back through Weeks. He pushes it forward here and watch for an opportunity maybe just to present here with Rook. I feel like he could be the danger man that could just pull something out of nothing here, Harry, if anyone's got that real capability in that front third.
Yeah, he certainly could be. Interesting to see if he, or I guess how long he lasts in this contest, whether he does play out the 90, but he is one of those players that can inject and spark a game, as we see with that pass there.
Does send it wide, and it's controlled well. Good build up to that from Taylor. Now they work it down that left edge. They cut infield. And Ruiz gets a boot in there. Is it enough? It is. That'll be a foul. Just a little clip there on the way through from Jaffas. A little over-exuberant a couple of times now and giving away fouls in positions where they might have just been able to put the clamps on Maitland. So you talked about that. It looks like Rook Griffiths might be the ones to make way here. You have to think Archie Finn will be one of the players that will come on. That'll be Tom Parks and Archie Finn.
Yeah, Tom Parks in particular, one that hasn't played too much football in Jaffas colours, but he's got so much time ahead of him in this contest to showcase himself. He'll go down the right, and they do lose that pace in Lockie Griffiths out on the right now, the Jaffas, and it's a front three of Patterson, Finn and Parks. So a different look attack and maybe a sign of urgency from Tancheski.
I think it maybe talks it too. You're probably going to be looking at Patterson as your creative and electric now, and a bit more physicality and just straight up power football, you might call it, from someone like Parks. He's going to grind, he's going to graft, and then obviously we know what Finn does. He's going to be that target man who's possibly going to try and sit up front and drop it back for Patterson to finish. I would have possibly liked to have seen a Finn and Rook combination. I think that could be, with the power that we talked about with Mitch Rook before, where he can finish from distance. You get an Archie Finn holding up at the, just inside the 18-yard box and dropping a ball back to the front of the 18-yard box for someone like a Rook to finish. It's not a combination we've seen a whole lot of in recent weeks for Lambton when they are seeking goals, I guess, and chasing games. It's a nice little move now as they work it forward here into the box dangerously, but Pate read it well, got off his line and just came and snatched that away before the Jaffas could capitalise.
Two subs there looking to combine. That shows a good sign into the couple of minutes that they have been on the field. Parks again, I wouldn't be surprised if he drifts centrally at times for the Jaffas, as we see a handball there, but a couple of times at Magic he's played in the middle of the park, so interesting to see if he has a bit of a licence to drift in field.
Well, dressing down here. Joey Langlois. The sounds of the Maitland FC cheer squad. I think it's probably the most, them and Kahai are probably the most primary examples of active support in the NPL here in northern New South Wales. It's wonderful to see it developing.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably those two that, I guess, Kahai, but you've got the guy with the
the wig. Yeah. Let's Maitland play this forward opportunity, trying to push into the box. I'm not sure that was the right pass, and away break the Jaffas. If they can find something here, they do find a ball into midfield, and Finn tries to break out wide. That ball misdirected, and the pace of the men up front for couldn't chase it down. Late tackle there, and the referee's going to give another talking to here. He's keeping himself busy. Push towards almost 20 minutes gone in this second half. The honour's probably even-ish in this second stanza, Harry, so far.
Yeah, I'd agree. Not one side has really gotten the top of the dominance, but I think the game's there for the taking. The Jaffas have, or both sides, I guess, have gone to their bench. I'm interested to see more of Damien McFarlane from Maitland. He's one player that when they go forward, he can combine and read a pass really well.
Looks like Maitland getting a couple more subs ready to go as well. So that'll be interesting to see. I might see Lockie Roos injected in, who could be a real spark, and Connor Butchard maybe as well. Getting ready to go. I think Roos could be a bit of a wild card in this one. Dangerous movement through the midfield. Push forward as well. He's comfortable in both areas. Really experienced, playing in a number of Premier League competitions. Played at Victoria on the Gold Coast as well, and the South Coast Wolves. So you can see just some instructions being dished out. Maitland FC's assistant coach. So certainly showing Adam Hughes, I guess, an attacking mindset with some of the changes he's making, Harry. And as we said before, it's the cliche, but not comfortable with a one-goal lead as Archie Finn tries to turn this in and tried to put the afterburners on and just didn't quite have the pace to get there. But Jaffas win back out in the attacking half, and this might be their chance. They're building up now, Weeks, and play it back across to Oates. Exchanging passes, and Weeks plays it forward now. Awesome. Weeks again, nothing presents, so he has to go all the way back to Kennedy. Maitland just pressing with a two-man press at the moment. Man defending otherwise. Jordan Goose found himself a little bit of space in behind if they can find a ball to him, but they turn it, almost turn it over. Smale just a little heavy on his touch. I'll have a goal kick now. Kennedy will take a moment and just roll it out to young Lawson Weeks. Under pressure here a little, Jaffas, and not sure about that in terms of a pass from BK. Ben Kennedy, all erroneous, and Maitland, can they feed this into the box? Dangerous opportunity here. Laid off now for McFarlane. Into the box for Maitland. Pushing around, the Jaffas defence again comes up clutch. Sends it long. And they work it back through Lawson Weeks. He's certainly been busy tonight, Harry.
Yeah, he's had to have a lot of touches on the ball. And he's such a calm presence as well.
Kennedy coming out and slides out and dives at that one.
Wasn't that a huge opportunity? Lambton caught napping at the back, and if Maitland would have got that pass to perfection, there were options left and right. That was another chance that's gone blowing for the Magpies.
Now the Jaffas working forward, trying to find something. Just thinking about the dynamic at the back there with the young Lawson Weeks, all of 18, and Ben Kennedy certainly on the wrong side of 30. Ben Kennedy would have made his A-League debut, I think, if my maths is correct, before Lawson Weeks was born. It's quite a, yeah, I dare say, Lawson Weeks is there 6'7". I don't think Ben Kennedy is. So, yeah, quite a differential when you think about it. It's the joys of NPL football, because as we talked about with Ben Kennedy in round one at Kahaiba, Ben Kennedy is certainly maybe not even the oldest in his Lambton squad, let alone the oldest in the NPL getting around. There's a couple of players with a 4 at the start of their age, which, we'll say quite clearly Ben Kennedy is not in his 40s yet. So, yeah, it's quite a disparity. Then you go down to, young Middleby, who's 15 playing for Valentine. You've got a 26, 27-year age difference between our eldest and our youngest players, which is, it's quite a cool story.
It is, yeah. It's really cool to see some of the youngsters really showcasing themselves this season. Lawson Weeks being one of them, but Middle there as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah, there you go. So Ben Kennedy would have made his A-League debut approximately 2 years before Lawson Weeks was born. Ben Kennedy made his A-League debut in his teen years. So you can say it was about 20 years since Ben Kennedy made his first A-League appearance, which is quite a phenomenal start. He's still playing at the next best level. As a probing ball across there from Lambton. Just again, the weight not right, and that's probably been the story of their night, Harry, is they've got themselves into pretty good positions, but then the weight of that last pass has often been overcooked, but a couple of times been well undercooked.
Yeah, when they have got the ball into wide areas, it's just been very few and far between. You're right, that final product. And there it is again.
No one there, just hitting hope, and you can see the man up front just throws his arms in the air and says, what was that? That's I'm not getting to that unless I'm 11 foot tall.
Yeah, execution has been off, that's for sure.
Richard Ruiz and is it Luke Corcoran coming off as well? Looks like, and understandably he's had plenty of workload. So as I said, it will be Connor Butchard in the 10. Come on, Corcoran, and then also coming on with Lockie Roos. Roos certainly knows the way to find a goal here and there as well. He's picked up one this season, but scored in other competitions fairly frequently when he's been offered the opportunity. Lambton, time started to become a pressure for them. As we said, they sit adrift of the top 5 and really need at least a point here today, Harry, you'd think, to keep themselves right in that contest for a playoff berth. So this could be quite a critical next 20 or so minutes for them as this game winds its way down towards its inevitable conclusion.
Yeah, I think so. I think 3 points would certainly be on their mind, but I'm not sure how much help a point would do. And last time they haven't scored in a game was way back in round 7 against the Bears. So they've got goals in them. It's just about getting on top here as they go forward.
That's a very clumsy challenge from Matt Smale. Not ideal at all, and just outside the box. Could this be the chance that the Jaffas are looking for? As I said, a loss here today. I'd see them 11 points adrift of Maitland, who've got an extra game to play. And still stay 7 points behind Edgeworth in 5th. And again, Edgeworth with games in hand. So it starts to become a challenging situation when 7 points and only 3 more games to play after today, I believe, if my maths is right. So work to be done for the Jaffas, that is for sure. Yeah, the commentary being barked from both benches now. It will be Pat Bond over it. Curls it wide, just headed away by Maitland. It was better. But I'll just end in a deep throw in for the Jaffas now. Okay, back here to Goo. Playing some big minutes today, Jordan Goo. Floats his into the box. Could this be it? Headed on, but unthreateningly away. And Taylor Pate decided better of letting it run over the byline and just gets us moving again quickly. And here you go, Maitland on the counter-attack. We saw them dangerous with it early. Captain Crowley is the man on the ball. Plays it back down the line, and now it's worked infield from Smale. And rotate it back through the defensive line. Phelan trying to present an option. They go long and wide, and that's not quite the ball they were looking for, I don't think. I think they want a little more angle to put it out in front. Just getting into a bit of a grind between these two sides at the moment. Harry, they can't quite, neither side really breaking free, and we haven't seen an overwhelming amount of opportunities. But could this be one here? Crowley gets it into the box. Opportunity pushed across the face. Just missing, just to the right of the post, and that could have been the chance for Maitland to put this one beyond doubt here.
Huge chance, and it's that overlapping run again. And Maitland sensing the danger. Crowley, it's a pinpoint pass. It's right out in front of where the Maitland fullback wanted it, and just wide of a stranded Ben Kennedy, who I think was beaten there, Chris.
Yeah, it would have been a tight angle to get past him, but I think there might have been an opportunity at that back post for Smale to just put it home. We see a bit of challenge here, and all little tempers starting to fray here. Probably talks to the pressure on both these sides. They'll both know what these points are in terms of where they sit. As we say, a win for Maitland would actually, certainly for the time being, lift them up temporarily into 3rd place. Ball moved around. Flurry of activity late in that game at Hunter City Motor Group Stadium, Harry.
Yeah, 5-2. It's finished there.
Big challenge here, and another card going against Lambton. So, yeah, just touching back on that 5-2. So Cohiba getting a couple of late ones, which will intrigue plenty. Certainly brings the deficit down in terms of that goal difference. Charlestown won't love that. Nor will a couple of sides that'll have to see Cohiba on the run home, because I know that Cohiba are sparking up with an ability to score.
Yeah, well, they've done well, considering at one stage they were down 4-0. Western, again, that's got to give them a lot of confidence, especially heading into the Australia Cup next week.
Oh, scored 5 a couple of times now this season, so yeah, good momentum coming up. A big challenge. If you feel like it's only upside playing an A-League side, isn't it? No real expectation. See, obviously, Western in their second consecutive year of the round of 32. A tough first up draw last year, didn't they?
Yeah, it was it's a tricky place to go, tricky team.
Another foul given to Maitland. Lambton starting to get a little bit tackle happy. Just need to be careful too. You don't want to be having players sitting out. Maitland go long forward here and into the box dangerously with Smale. Ball spills out though.
I think the Jaffas have done a good job at keeping that right-hand side of Maitland quiet in this second half. Tommy Waller was peppered in that first half, and a lot of their attacks in this second half have actually come down Riley Taylor's side there in Braden Crowley most notably. So
they just like the camera, Harry. They just play down the camera side. Makes it a lot easier for us as commentators to have it the near side as well. But Jaffas now working it away. Time just continuing to mount up on Jaffas as they cut across here and look to try and find the ball. Patterson couldn't find an open target. Pulls it back to Taylor. Now across to Weeks. They're really looking for something to magically appear. Braden Crowley. The old AFL hip and shoulder, Harry.
Yeah, the two number 14s going at it. David Tancheski on his feet as well. He knows how crucial the rest of this contest is. And it looks like Jaffas will turn to their bench. And this is an interesting sub. Josh Pennington coming on. Tommy Waller off, so
plenty of experience, replaced by even more experience. So
Pennington straight forward for the few shoves as well.
Floated into the top of the 6-yard box, headed away nicely by Maitland. Now, can they get free here? Referee says ball, plays on, strike taken from range, and little fumble there from Pate, but just finds it at his toes.
Tom Parks scored a screamer against Adamstown earlier in the season, was looking to do so again there.
With a challenge again, this time Riley Taylor and Crowley in there again. A little bit of fire up here, and it's just having to be held back there. Maitland coaching staff getting involved. That's never going to end well, Harry.
No, it certainly isn't. And you can see tempers starting to flare. Jimmy Oates and Braden Crowley, the two going at it. And you can see the Maitland bench very active on their feet. Yeah, just on that change for the Jaffas, interesting to see where Josh Pennington actually slides, whether he goes straight for a like-for-like replacement for Tommy Waller, or whether the Jaffas look to go more attacking, get Pennington more advanced, which I'd assume wouldn't be the case. But it is a great corner for Maitland here. There's that deflection out for the Maitland corner. Back to back for the Magpies. And on by that support there in the corner of the active support, like we mentioned earlier here on the call. Another opportunity presents here for the Magpies into a dangerous position. It'll be a third straight corner the way of Maitland. What can they conjure up on the third time of asking? McFarlane again, the left foot. So dangerous to stand over it. This is straight from the training ground. And nearly going in for Maitland's second. Well worked by the Magpies. Straight from the training ground, that move. And Jaffas now can take a breath after 4 corners consecutive for Maitland.
Just keep turning up the pressure, don't they?
Certainly are. Jaffas did well though to see out that situation.
Again, another physical challenge there. Referee's had enough. Dishes out another yellow card, this time the way of Cameron Jessup. Just need to find something, the Jaffas.
They do. Lawson Weeks looks like he's gone to left back. Josh Pennington playing alongside Jimmy Oates, I believe. He's gone forward for this set piece. There's not too many yellow jumpers on forward here.
Push this down again, and there's Weeks working around. You see, he's sitting back now. It's starting to wonder. Pennington playing a bit of a free range role by the look of it. Okay, they settle back again. Maitland creating an opportunity deep here. And played into the box and turned into something more. McFarlane takes a strike from range. That soars past the post. It wasn't far away. My goodness, there was almost no wind up. And he just stabbed at that. And it sailed just past the left post.
Well, funnily enough, I was just waiting for that to hit the back of the net. And wasn't it travelling at some speed? Again, we talk about players that have got it in their locker. McFarlane again. You let him unleash on that left foot. And he will certainly trouble the keeper.
Ben Kennedy, though, as calm and composed as you can be, did see it away. Now, nice ball for Maitland, setting up some space again on that right-hand side. Played into the box. No deflection, says the referee, and it will be a goal kick. Time ticking away. Pressure continues to mount for the Jaffas. Is this their season on the line here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility? Only time will tell. If they could snatch a draw from the jaws of defeat, it would certainly keep a bit of a pulse alive.
Well, Jimmy Oates has shifted more centrally towards the back end of this game. It's allowed Josh Pennington to play alongside Weeks and Riley Taylor at the back. I'm just wondering whether they've gone actually to a back three, the Jaffas. And, I mean,
need to push someone forward at this point. Yeah, exactly right. And we touched on it before. We know what Oates can do when he starts to play into that sort of constructing midfield role, whether it's a defensive midfield or more of a traditional centre mid. Give him a little bit of licence, and that's probably the role that he's been more well known in Northern New South Wales football for.
Yeah, exactly. Even in his first season in Jaffas colours, in that midfield alongside Reece Pappas, Pat Bond, he was so dangerous. And it does leave a bit of a gap at the back here for the Jaffas, especially with Josh Pennington, one of the only players alongside Lawson Weeks that will hold that defence. So potentially something for Maitland to exploit if Lambton commit too many numbers forward, which I'm presuming they would. Jordan Gu still out there on the field as well. I can't remember too many times that he's played a full 90 minutes as well, but it's been good to see him get a fair few minutes under his belt here today.
Yeah, might be close to the first this season. As this ticks away, I'm sure he'll be glad of this. Of course, he's one that was one of those players last year, like a Cole McSeveny, who went from Western to Maitland this season. He was one last year that took the opportunity and rode it all the way to the grand final when David Tanchevsky offered him a transfer from Valentine.
And had a massive impact, didn't he?
He did. Really owned that jersey, so it was quite surprising to see him not have as much starting time so far this year. There's a little bit of frustration there, Joe Langlois, as he was just told to go back a little bit from the referee, and so he said, no, I'm just not going to throw it in, someone else can do it. Ben Kennedy ranging a little forward and plays it out. There's a nice opportunity here. Oates on the ball. Pushes it wide to the right here. Nice touch into the 18-yard box. They push it to the top of the box again. The Maitland jerseys just appear when they need to. They'll push it wide now out to the right. And they'll put it out in front. Opportunity here in a foot race, and that'll be a foul going in favour of Josh Pittington. No disrespect to Pitto, but not the man you want probably if you're backing a foot race. But he did well just to use his expertise and his experience to position himself in the way and keep just making it challenging.
Yeah, it looks worrying there for a second, but I tell you what, he's held his own and drawn the free kick as well. But that's the moment there that I think if Maitland can pinch the ball, they can certainly try and get in behind the Jaffas.
Yeah, Regan Lundy might like his time again, I would have thought. And Crowley, you can see he's blowing heavily. A lot of the players out there are, despite it being a cooler night. This has been a lot of ball in play this game. I say as they take an extended long time to take a throw in. Can't be too long left of regulation time. Pittington having a little running battle, unsurprisingly. Opportunity going forward now. Oh, he loses their footing, Maitland. Again, look dangerous for the Magpies.
Yeah, that space just opened up way too easily down the right-hand side. And again, I think they've targeted that side more in the second half. The first half, a lot of the play was coming down either flank. But as this game's gone on, with the Jaffas going forward as much as they have, there's been opportunities for Maitland to double their lead.
Smale, a sliding tackle. Referee waves that through. Ball into the box now for Maitland. Opportunity here if they can pull it back, and Pittington takes no prisoners, shepherding it across the line. Maitland boys making a little bit of a racket down that end behind Ben Kennedy, giving him some constructive feedback. Sure, nothing he's not heard before.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
His years in the A-League, I'm sure he's heard some very interesting and the occasional slightly humorous thing. Ball cross in for the Jaffas. Here's a chance. Spills out over the pack. The crumbs will be cleaned up at the back of the 18-yard box, or the left edge, if you will. Try and play it in, and Maitland again just clean it away. Just too many good half and three-quarter chances presenting for Lambton that aren't bearing any fruit as they push down this right now. Maitland on the quick counter-attack. Weeks with works to do in defence. Nice little turn back for Maitland. They go to McFarlane. He turns it back again. Maitland will be starting to settle into a mindset of taking their opportunity to push forward, but not in any rush as the time ticks away here for this Jaffas outfit. And pressure very firmly on them. Shot taken from range, just headed away. Good composure there, Pittington. That would have been a test to Kennedy at his left post as he looks at it.
I think it had Ben Kennedy scared there for a second. And yeah, like you touched on, Chris, the Jaffas have had moments in possession, but just hasn't really translated into too much dominance, and they haven't really looked too much of a threat going forward. And when it has broken down, Maitland just looking to capitalise on it. And another huge chance here, sending the tall timber forward.
Yeah, not any rush, Maitland. They're not getting a lot of numbers in there. They'll just plug a few in. Probably just erring on the side of caution. Don't want to be caught on the bounce here. As they close in, they go the short corner. They're closing in on this 6th win. It'll pull back. Shot taken from range, and that soars way over the crossbar with no real threat. Maitland continue this run and look to add another clean sheet to what's been a pretty good run over these last 5 games, Harry. Yeah, so 4 out of their last 6 have been clean sheets. If they maintain this, which I think by this exact margin, if I'm not mistaken, as they push forward here and played in the box. Oh, a little awkward bobble there, but the good slide. Again, young Lawson Weeks. He's been good. I mean, he's been called on a few times today. But another corner here as we head into the range of stoppage time.
Yeah, there's been a few of those scenarios where the ball's been played in the box and it's needed a touch or some sort of clearance from the Jaffas, and Weeks has been to it. And yeah, you're right, Chris. There's been 2 games that Maitland have won 1-0 by in the last 2 weeks. 1-0 over Valentine. Likewise with Olympia Cook Square Park.
Corner here. They push another number forward with Jessup going in. And again, they go the short corner though. Played across the back and just floated into the box by Crowley and chipped, but the flag goes up. They do find their way into the back of the net, but that flag was up strongly and early from the assistant referee.
Yeah, they've had a few of those corners that have been straight from the training ground. You could tell Crowley's first idea was to lob it over the top of the Lambton defence. Unfortunately for Maitland, though, in an offside position.
At the referee's discretion now. It'll be interesting to see how long this goes on. We haven't had a whole lot of extended stoppages in this half. Can't be too long now. Lambton pushing forward. Opportunity here. Just parried. What about a save there? Taylor Pate called on one-on-one. He came out. Looked like he was caught on his back heel. And did well just to get himself into the contest. And we'll see another change made here.
What a save by Pate. The dying stages to protect that clean sheet. And huge. That is for Maitland, especially
in the dying stages here. They can't, as I say, there cannot be long left for, almost 2 minutes into stoppage time. There can't be too long left with minimal stoppages, and that could be the difference. And that could well, when we get to the end of round 22, be the difference of Maitland finishing 5th, Maitland finishing 3rd, getting a second bite at the cherry. We'll see the young man you were talking about earlier, Jaden Ritchie, coming on, and we had a very limited window to play, but again, another cap.
Safe to say it's probably Jaffas' best chance of the day, and it's come
in the 92nd minute.
And it was from Jimmy Oates, who's just had the shift on forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting one when you look at, and again, sliding doors moments and different things. You wonder if the club might have rethunk Oscar Thorpe departing. He's obviously made centre-back position a Highbury's own and could have been a decent asset, but you can't predict, an injury to McNaughton and those sorts of things happening either. And again, you can't tell the future. But certainly you feel at times they've maybe robbed Peter to pay Paul by putting Oates back there as they looked across this in, dangerously finding the equaliser. Spilled away, just a deflecting header. Is that Crowley at the back post defending now? It was. They get up again. This header well off target though. And that'll be, you'd have to feel this goal kick might be the last piece of action we see. 3 and a bit minutes into stoppage time. Outstanding display overall. The football has been tight.
I think they've just done the business. They've dug in when needed.
Certainly have. Taylor Pate will get us back going here. He'll chew up a little bit of time if he can. Sends it long. No whistle in the mouth yet from the referee. Piddington heads it forward, trying to create a chance. Just deflected wide. Can't be controlled and kept in play by the Jaffas. Allow Jessup to come forward and take the throw. No, Power will take the throw. They'll just try and milk this down. I'm still surprised at this day that players haven't worked out the referees, discount the time that the ball's out of play. But anyway, Jordan Goo gets headed to it. Maitland will take a pot shot and send it forward. And the referee says, that will do us. Maitland Magpies soar to a 6th straight win. For the time being, at least, they will lift themselves up into the top 3, depending on other results across the weekend. That is a huge win as they extend their winning run, Harry, and not only extend their winning run, but head into the Australia Cup game next Wednesday up against Fremantle City. With this momentum right behind them, nothing seems to be able to halt them at this stage.
No, certainly. It's a tight turnaround. It's a Wednesday game for the Magpies, but I'm sure they'll be ready. And look, they had to dig in at times today. I don't think Jaffas offered too much going forward, but again, in saying that, Maitland's defence was up to the task, and they went about their business nicely. And it was Crowley's goal that was the difference in the first half, but a professional performance by Maitland, and one that they can take heading into a crucial clash for them and the club next Wednesday night.
Certainly is a big clash, and some will say, it's 6 wins in a row in the NPL, but they've knocked off sides like Western in that El Clasico, and you've got to go all the way back to the middle of May. That's the 15th of May was the last time that Maitland FC were defeated in a competitive fixture. So can they continue that and make it 7 wins on the trot? I mean, it would be 8 realistically, because they would have qualified for the round of 32 in that time as well. So 7 wins on the trot. Can they make it 8 now when they go into Wednesday and then look forward as they try and chase down a top 3 berth? Well done to Maitland FC. 1-0 winners thanks to a wonderful goal to Braden Crowley, of course. Who else? His 15th of the season. They get the 3 points here at Lake Macquarie Regional Football Federation facility. A big thank you to you for tuning into your men's NPL New South Wales and Northern New South Wales competition. Of course, make sure you stay tuned to the Northern New South Wales YouTube for all your NPL live and free men's and women's first and reserve grade throughout season 2026. On behalf of myself, Chris McPherson and Harry Scobie, we wish you a very good night, and we look forward to bringing you some more football very, very soon.